Today I'm going to give you 7 compelling reasons to grow Nepenthes this year, compelling to me anyway, that's why I grow them. Now if you've watched my videos before, you'll know I've grown and continue to grow a wide variety of tropical plants, but I consider Nepenthes to be amongst the best in my collection. I love these things. Everyone I've known who actually gives them a try very quickly becomes hooked and enthralled with them in equal measure. So for your own benefit and to ensure you don't miss out on these incredible plants, I'm going to do my very best to persuade you to take the plunge, but then at the end of the video I'll explain to you why you likely won't. Let's get started. Now, where am I going to put this thing? And we are in. Okay, so here are my reasons to give Nepenthes a shot in no particular order. Number 1, they're still unusual and they still impress people even in 2024. Nepenthes are still considered to be unusual amongst non-specialist growers. Out of all your friends that grow houseplants, how many of them count Nepenthes amongst their collection? Exactly. That's why when you do grow them, visitors are often fascinated by their apparent rarity and enthralled by their deadly but beautiful pictures. We all love a bit of drama, right? Well, Nepenthes practically drip with drama as well as nectar. And if you've ever seen an insect lured to an untimely death by one of these things, you'll know exactly what I mean. So while their macabre beauty can certainly be a talking point, not many houseplants can lay claim to the next point. So number 2, unlike most houseplants, they have a fascinating story behind them. Who wouldn't be impressed with how Nepenthes have evolved and adapted to make use of animal nutrients because they live and grow in places of low nutrition? Their pictures have adapted over many millions of years to entice insects and in some cases small mammals with scent and colourful patterns and sweet nectar. They provide a landing pad, a runway, a ladder and food for gullible creatures. Their slippery surfaces inside actually allow less friction than the best that anything humans have managed to invent. Once the hapless victim has fallen into the digestive juices, escape is futile. The viscosity keeps them trapped and the slippery walls prevent any purchase. Death and digestion is just a matter of time. So we have a beautiful plant, a great talking point and a fascinating origin story. Surely they'll be hard to look after? Well, not really. They're much easier to look after than they look. Despite how they look, Nepenthes are tough and they're very easy to look after. There are plants that naturally grow in cooler places and warmer places, so they're ideal for the varying conditions found in most houses. And the hundreds of hybrids have only made their care easier still. So buyers have plenty of choices in terms of temperatures that these plants can cope with. They require no special care other than watering and feeding and the occasional pruning, nothing more than a houseplant does. They won't thank you for using tap water, but again, many houseplants don't. So number 4, they keep insects down. If you live somewhere where fungus gnats or outside insects are likely to come inside, then your Nepenthes will deal with them easily enough with their special adaptations. Number 5, they're actually more available in 2024 than ever. There are more places selling these plants, certainly in the UK, as well as the specialist online sellers. Even garden centres are getting in on the act. Number 6, there are a huge range of varying pictures in shape, patterning, colours. They're absolutely beautiful and there are loads to choose from. The pictures are in various sizes and they're very slow growing and they live for years. What more could you ask for? So hopefully by now you're being swayed a little bit to my way of thinking. If you're a keen houseplant grower, you'll know all about the dangers of overwatering. Well, I've got great news for you for reason number 7. You cannot overwater them. If you're prone to overwatering, then these plants will be perfect for you as they prefer to remain moist. If you have them hanging, then they're even better. They're impossible to overwater. So you'd think this all adds up to a perfect plant to grow in the home. Well, there are a few reasons why people still seem to shy away from them. And hopefully if I dispel some of these objections here and now, you'll be tempted to pick one up. And no, I'm not selling them. So objection number 1, people are still wary of the unknown. Well, that's always going to be true, isn't it? But in the case of Nepenthes, don't be. Their care is well documented and understood, and it's no mystery. Whatever your growing problem, someone out there, possibly me, will know the answer to it. Objection number 2, they look hard, so therefore they must be. Well, as with many things in life, you cannot judge a book by its cover. Objection number 3, people think that feeding them will be an issue and that they have to provide live prey? Well, of course it's not. You don't have to give them real live food. Just cheap dry fish flakes work just as well, and there are other alternatives. You could even spray or water them with dilute orchid feed. Objection number 4, people think that they need high humidity, so this persists, this myth. While it's true that most Nepenthes naturally grow in highly humid areas, it's wrongly assumed that they absolutely need high humidity in order to grow and produce pitchers. If you keep their roots moist and don't routinely have lower than 30% humidity, then it's not likely to be an issue. You don't need a humidifier unless you live in a desert. Objection number 5, people think that Nepenthes potting mix must be complicated. Well, Nepenthes are actually very tolerant and can grow in all sorts of mixtures. The only thing to remember is to keep it moisture retentive and airy. Maybe sphagnum moss or washed coir or bark or coconut husks. There are other mixtures and any proportions of those will work well. As ever with plants, you've got to look at your own conditions that you're offering. So hopefully that solves most objections to growing Nepenthes, but there is a word of warning. If you're someone who frequently forgets about their plants and only waters sporadically, then perhaps this isn't the plant for you. Allowing them to dry out will result in a dead Nepenthes plant. So which kind of person are you? Are you tempted to give them a try or still reluctant? Ask any questions you have in the comments, or maybe you're already a Nepenthes grower and just like watching videos about them, in which case tell me your favourite. And if you're still on the fence and want a few more Nepenthes myths dispelling, then go and watch this video next, where I address in more detail the specific myths about Nepenthes that many people still believe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.